test it a bit, there's almost like a layer 4, by the way, if you want to. A layer 4 would be, I've got Bitcoin on an application, but I can't withdraw it. So I've got an application that's backed by Bitcoin, but the Bitcoin is sealed. It's a proprietary example, and I'll give you an example of that. That would be like Grayscale.
Security market at layer 4, am I understanding this correctly?
I don't know if I would say, not all securities are layer 4, but anything that's a proprietary product is another application of Bitcoin. So if you think about different ways you can use this, you can either stay completely on the layer 1 and use the base chain for your transactions, or you can limit yourself to layer 1 and layer 2 Lightning. And the purist would say we stay there, get your Bitcoin off the exchange. But you could also go to the layer 3 when Cash App, they wouldn't let you withdraw it. There was a big community uproar, and people want these layer 3s to make it possible to withdraw the Bitcoin, so you can take it to your own private wallet and get it off the exchange. I think the answer to the question of, well, in physical property is when you own a building in Los Angeles and the city politics turn against you, you can't move the building. And when you own a share of a security that's like a U.S. traded security and you wish to move to some other country, you can't take the security with you either. And when you own a bunch of gold and you try to, is advantageous versus all those because you actually do have the option to withdraw your asset from the exchange. And if you had Bitcoin with Fidelity and you had shares of stock with Fidelity, and if you had bonds and sovereign debt with Fidelity, and if you own some chips with Fidelity, none of those things can be removed from the custodian. But the Bitcoin you can take off the exchange, you can remove from the custodian. So
It's still possible.
there's a deterrent. There's a deterrent. There's an anti-corrupting element. And the phrase is an armed society is a polite society, right? Because you have the optionality to withdraw all your assets from the crypto exchange, you can enforce fairness. And at the point where you disagree with their policies, you can, within an hour, move your assets to another counterparty or take personal custody of those with any other form of property owner. And so what makes digital property distinct is the fact that it has the most optionality for custody. Now, coming back to this digital energy issue, the real key point is the energy moves in milliseconds for free. Even think about trying to solve all three problems in the layer 1 because it's impossible to achieve the security and the incorruptibility and immortality if you try to build at that much speed and that functionality makes the economy. Right? If I said to you, you're going to build a building, but you can only have one company in it for the life of the building, it would be very fragile, like very brittle. What company 100 years ago is still relevant today? If you want all three layers, well, it's got to be this L1 or that L1. Not really. And sometimes people think, well, I don't really want any L3. But companies, it's not an either or. Companies are better than crypto asset networks in certain things. If you want complexity, you want to implement complexity, or you want to implement compliance or customer service, right? Companies do these things well, right? We know you couldn't decentralize Apple or Netflix or even YouTube.